Hi friends, I'm Chloe Taylor, the creator of kozykale, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can work with the energy of this Gemini full moon. This video is timeless whenever the Gemini moon is happening, the Gemini full moon specifically. It usually always happens during Sagittarius season, but no matter what year it is, when it's upcoming, this video is for you. So if you want to know how to work with these energies, please keep on watching. Now, I want to first start out by saying this is obviously up to your own interpretation, and eventually I will have some information on the Gemini new moon when that happens, and you can definitely head to that video when the time comes if you are somebody that prefers to manifest with the full moon. However, I am the person that truly does believe that we manifest with the new moon and we actually release and let go with the full moon. And that is because when you are manifesting with the new moon, you are planting a seed, and then that moon actually waxes up to the full moon into the culmination. So your seed that you planted is growing until it is full. That is why I choose to manifest that way and do things that way with lunar cycles. But if you choose to do it the opposite, which some people do, this video might not be the correct one for you. Just if you're looking to manifest, this is really more about letting go and releasing. So this full moon is actually going to be a lot easier for people that are Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarians, or have major placements of those in their charts. If you are not of those, this moon might be a little bit harder for you guys because the energy is very fickle, as the sign of Gemini is a very fickle sign. And when we talk about letting go and what we should be looking at releasing with this very specific full moon, we are going to actually be looking to release some of the qualities, maybe more of the negative aspects of the sign of Gemini. So I would like it if you guys would take out a piece of paper, and I will do it with you, and write down these questions and answer them. You can do this in your journal if you would like to, or you can write them down and burn them, because there is a lot of burning rituals in this video that I will be sharing with you. So the first question you really want to ask yourself is, have I been talking shit? No, I'm just kidding. Have I been gossiping? Gemini tends to be a sign that is very driven by gossip and drama. They always want to know what other people are doing in their lives. So if this sounds like something you've been getting really caught up in lately, ask yourself if you have been doing that. Have you been instigating the drama? Have you been a peacekeeper or a peacemaker, or have you been making matters worse because you're invested in the gossip and the drama? The next question to ask yourself is, have you been glossing over other people's feelings? Gemini tends to be very mental mind focused, so we have a tendency around this time to not be paying as much attention to how people are feeling, being less in our feelings and more in our head. So ask yourself that question and see if there's somebody that maybe you need to pay a visit to, or send a text message to, or reach out to, that maybe you haven't been as soft as you could be towards them. The next question is to ask yourself, have I been too flaky or flighty? Gemini at their negative side tends to be a little bit on the flaky side. So have you been someone who's been canceling a lot of plans, not really doing what you're saying you're gonna do? And if so, is there some apologies that are necessary? The next question to ask yourself is, have you been embellishing or over exaggerating things? Gemini has a natural flair for being an amazing storyteller. I say this all the time. Geminis are like the sages of the world. They know how to tell an excellent story because they know how to embellish and exaggerate things. So ask yourself, have you been being completely honest with the things that you've been telling others? Do you need to make corrections? And if not, just keep it in check. Keep those little stories in check. And the last question to ask yourself is, have you been consuming enough knowledge? Have you been reading enough? Have you been studying enough? Reading specifically, I feel, for Gemini. Studying, I feel like almost would fall more into a Sagittarius realm. But for Gemini, have you been consuming enough written literary material? And if not, maybe this would be a good time to actually take yourself book shopping. The message of this full moon is to actually slow down and be real real with people. So slow down, stop moving so quickly, stop talking so quickly, stop running 1,000 miles an hour, and actually be real and authentic with people. Obviously, this is really helpful if you're doing this all the time with others, but during this phase, if you feel that you've just been kind of emotionally detached, it's a time to kind of really hone that in and ask yourself where that's been happening and make adjustments. The thing that really needs to be balanced during this full moon is your ability to learn, not just learning from books or TV or things like that, but actually learning from the human connections in your life as well, and learning how to balance your want for new information with like basically not getting so ahead of yourself that you are not absorbing everything that's around you and you're not just jumping from this to this to this to this to this to this, because Gemini has a tendency to do that. Now, I have 3 different recommendations for you guys to do for this full moon to connect with yourself. The first 2 are a couple of burning ceremonies. I know some of you guys probably cannot light matches, light candles, light fires in your house. If you are doing this, please always be safe. Ask a parent for assistance if you need to. If you are not allowed, do not do it. I don't want to hear from mad parents in my inbox being like, my kid was playing with matches and it's your fault, Chloe, okay? So just be smart. If you can't use fire and such, maybe consider burying these things in a houseplant if you have one. Consider just running them through a paper shredder. Consider ripping them up and throwing them away. That also works really well. But the first thing I want you guys to do is actually write, and you can make this a little special piece of paper, whatever it might be. The idea is that you're going to write this out and then destroy it. It gives you a very physical sense of a release, and I believe in doing this with every full moon. But basically, you are going to write a minimum of 3 things that you need to forgive during this time and really sit with them. These could be things that you need to forgive in other people, things that you need to forgive within yourself. Things with Gemini, as we've kind of talked about, with things moving really quickly or gossiping too much, or maybe somebody gossiped about you and you just need to let it go and forgive. So 3 things that you need to forgive in your life. Preferably, I would aim them towards your social circles or towards you maybe flaking out too much and feeling bad about that. Aim it with that same Gemini energy, but it can be anything that you feel needs to be forgiven. And then once you've written that out, you're going to go ahead and either tear it up if you can't use fire, or find another method of releasing it. If you are using fire, which is what I do recommend, go ahead and just fold it 3 times, and usually you would fold it away from yourself. If you are forgiving and trying to remove this energy, you would fold it 3 times but away from yourself, and then go ahead and set this on fire. I like to put this in my cauldron or in my fire pit if weather permits, and just release it and get rid of it. And once it's burnt up, I might sit with those feelings for a little bit, but once it is burnt up, I allow myself to be done with it. The next thing you're going to want to do is actually make a gratitude list. This is so important. Honestly, you could do this ritual every single day just in a journal and not burn it, and this would literally change your life. I have done this myself and I can totally stand behind it. If you guys want more information on gratitude, let me know. I've been thinking about doing a podcast episode on gratitude because I think it is such a key component to manifesting and to actually living out your desired life. So let me know down below if you're interested in that. But with a gratitude list, basically same energy. You are going to do a minimum of 3 things on a piece of paper that you are grateful for. You're going to write them down. And this could be, again, anything. It's better if it's geared towards people or learning experiences or things that have to do with this Gemini energy. But if you feel that you don't have, if you feel that you don't have that many things, then that are geared towards that, this could be anything. You could be grateful for the breakfast you had today. You could be grateful for the beautiful sunset, whatever it might be. You could be grateful for the full moon. You could be grateful for your family. You could be grateful for the clothes on your back, the list goes on and on and on and on. You can do more than 3 things for sure. I actually encourage, if you can, do like 25 things. That's even better. But 3 things minimum. And then, just like the forgiveness list, you are actually going to fold it towards yourself, because we're drawing in that energy of feeling grateful. And then you are going to either bury this, shred it, tear it up, or my favorite method, burn it. You can also choose to keep the gratitude list. I feel, as I was saying, you could kind of keep this all in a specific journal for when you decide to use it during full moons. But choose to do with it what you will. I like to burn these things because I feel like it just gives a really great message out into the universe as well. I'm sending that energy out and dispersing it. You may even want to sit with those grateful feelings for a little bit before you do so, because once you have burned it, you are just going to kind of let that go. And the last thing I want to recommend for you guys is to actually take a detoxifying bath. This is something that I will probably do with every single full moon video, because I think baths are such a great way to detoxify yourself from the month, from all of the manifesting, from using all of your power, and really not only cleansing yourself spiritually, but also calling your power back in for the next months that are to come. So with the Gemini energy here, and if you don't have access to a bath, you guys can make like salt scrubs for your body out of this stuff. Or you can also just do like a foot soak in a little tub or a bowl. So don't feel like you can't do this if you don't have access to a bath. There are definitely things you can do. But basically, the number one thing you are going to want to have for this bath is salt. Salt is something that I recommend taking a bath in every single full moon. It detoxifies your aura. It also cleanses your aura completely, and it helps you to remove any negative energy that you've been holding on to. And especially if you set the intention, I really like to take like the handful of salt that I'm going to use, and I will put both my hands over it like this, and I will actually set the intention with my eyes closed, feet planted firmly on the ground. If you can go outside in the grass and plant your feet, that's even better. If you can't, it's okay. You don't have to. I find just connecting directly with Mother Earth really like intensifies that connection, but I will just set the intention either verbally or in my mind that this salt is going to detoxify and purify my aura and anything that I have been holding on to as I like sit in this bath. It's going to wash away and be purified. And then I will release that into my bath. The next thing that you may want to consider, don't just put it around your bath. I know all of y'all want to be freaking Tumblr or Instagram girls where you see these baths that are like chock full of crystals and flowers and they're so gorgeous and bubbles and what have you. But when you actually take a bath with crystals, do not take a bath with water-soluble crystals. That's a bad idea. Don't use things like selenite. Make sure you do your research. I will never tell you a crystal that you should put in your water that you can't, okay? So anytime I give you a recommendation, rest assured you can use it. But you want to actually put the crystals in your bath, in the water, because it actually helps the water to take on the characteristics of that crystal or the properties of that crystal, and then therefore you are washing that over your body as well. I really like to bathe with the crystal howlites. I was looking for a piece next to me, but I actually don't have one right here, but I own several pieces of howlites. To me, howlite is the Gemini stone. It is the crystal that it specifically works with communication and allowing you to communicate your words in a loving way. And because Gemini is the communicator in the zodiac, that is a crystal you would really want to consider working with. There are tons of other communication stones. That personally is just my favorite one, so it is the one I recommend. Putting that in your bath is going to be great. And then the last thing, I feel like for Gemini, I really correspond citrus to Gemini. So I would use oils like bergamot, orange oil, lemon oil. You can even cut up lemon slices and put some of them in your bath. That kind of gives you that whole Tumblr, Instagram bath feel, if you know what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure I did lemon for mine. So you can do little like lemon wedges, or not wedges. You could cut it up however you want to. Okay, I'm not telling you what to do with your life, but I prefer little like rounds, little like lemony rounds, and you could put those in your bath and To me, that just really brings in the energy of Gemini. I look at Gemini as being such a little like wonderful, childlike, intelligent, like beautiful ray of sunshine. And I feel like lemons really bring that in. So I correspond citrus, and I think yellow is also the color of Gemini. So lemons are going to be great for this. And you can just put that in your bath as well. And there you go. Get in there. Make sure you soak for at least 20 minutes. It's great if you actually do a guided meditation. I will link my meditation playlist down below. They're not my meditations. They are other people's guided meditations that I have done that I have liked. So I will leave a link to my playlist down below if you guys want to pick one of those out while you're in the bath and just meditate. It's going to be really helpful, preferably doing a meditation that is about releasing and letting go, but you can choose to do whatever you want to. And that is everything I have for you guys for this Gemini full moon. I hope you guys have an amazing full moon. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at kozykale. And don't forget to follow both of my podcasts. I have Cozycast, which is my podcast all about self-help, spirituality, manifestation, things like that. And I have a podcast that is going to be re-debuting on, I don't know what day in January, but January 2020, we will be coming back full swing. Twin Flames podcast. It is a podcast that I run with my IRL twin flame. We talk about spirituality and psychology, and we actually bridge the gap between them because she is in her master's program in psychology, depth psychology specifically. And obviously, I bring the spirituality aspect. We both really enjoy both topics, so we really bridge those together for you guys, and it's just fun. It's like she's like my best friend, so we have so much fun filming that, and it's a fun podcast. Both those podcasts are available on all major platforms. Spotify, Android, Google Play, what's the other one? There's one more that I'm forgetting that's like a major podcast platform, but it's available at Apple Podcasts. It's available everywhere, so please make sure that you follow it. And yeah, I will see you guys in a future video. Oh, that's the other thing. Don't forget, if you want to book me for a personal tarot reading, links down below for that information. And I will see you guys in a future video. Bye. A bitch has been talking all day and a bitch is thirsty. Fudge. With Waterloo sparkling water, not sponsored. Mood. Okay.